Abusia for my money now about daily update TV. Also send any day they can back channel. So message us over tap on the subscribe button. So ediam now things what tap on the notification bell. So na be I want to submit me all the new updated to channels on who near cause on Ghana and politics. Message should be several cause videos so by like and watching so down. And so why didn't you be a videos or the comment section here by Joho. Nia can answer so ediam. Some yam no the cousin I say in no other support that am president and I don't go for it to say on clear sir in no flow because Uniska would go to that port duties at in no soon. Some impam no the cousin global fund for now I shock I so surprised say who be it will be as it that say you didn't know a country say more fam more my yard for no movement treaty or more yard and so president or Texas own team in class unknown. Nshishumusu kyerɛ sɛ na $2 million ɛka saa nnuro no ho sɛ ɔmɔmfa nkle saa nnuro no ɛmfiri port wɔ nanso saa mmea mmerɛ ka sɛ de baabi a $2 million na fa no de obi anem nanso nnuro no ada so aka Ghana port a saa mmea mmerɛ ka sɛ ɛda so gu hɔ a ayalefo nso gu hospital mu nyɛ nduro ɛmfa nhyɛ ɔmo ho ɛyaleɛ Tracy Success aba abɔnten abɛkyerɛ mu sɛ ne kwan sɛ yɛbrɛ mi na N.Addo danko Akufo-Addo kora because since 2014 ana Ghana port John Dramani Mahama yɛ former president atɔn Ghana port ɛde ama French billionaire nanso so Kelvin school obey pa ama who say a former president one ton Ghana port. As a matter of fact, former president Anna Wabaya Ghana port ye was provide about 400,000 jobs ama Ghanaian youth almost enya adwuma enomunya sika enso de toto bibidi enti yanse mende yenko hwese Kelvin SCB school Sarkodie Tracy Success na keke bi a chen pa.
And it's got to do with recently, Asama Abisi Ewa Port, Ewa Ghana. And Ninyina is got to do with a medical, container, medical supplies room, health ministry, a delay, so I'm clear, sir, medical supplies, you know. The Ministry of Health has announced that it will clear the remaining container of medical commodities that have been stuck at the T.Port since May 2023. Now, sa nyoma we America juma kubia sebio omutu omuche eche inkru den enduro a sebio yedebema ekrumu homa emo omoso omo atomo from 20 den be 70 be sinde sa nyoma ni nyina egu den T.Port ma nyoma no egu container mu nduro a ebeji Ghana fo enkwa no baomia Akufo-Addo mo eyomani ema sa nyoma ni nyina da ho gu port wo ende yes sorry ya the abetene say MPP aban no say oh afen no makai say nduro bi e port Ndrobi airport inti yema mo na wotwemienu omobeyi from 2017 sign ndro we egu the airport aban we in fact omo a omode eduro no ene sa anyoma ne breye no omo beka na TV so say omo de be $2 million ka ho say aban we emfa enye den enyi eduro no omo a omode ndro no ba no omo mu nipa ena ekase moma yentie asama and I say we should just go straight and then take care of it. All right, moma yentie asama omo so kan.
I mean, the whole scenario
is this situation novel? Like, has it ever happened before? From what you do know,
about 2 weeks ago, we were in Geneva to meet the Global Fund.
All right,
and the Global Fund told the Ghana delegation that was led by the Minister of Health, Honorable Dr. Okoboy, and the Director General of the Ghana Health Service was also present. The chairperson for the Parliamentary Select Committee on Health, and his ranking member, they were all part of the delegation. The Global Fund told us that this is the first time they are seeing anything like this anywhere in the world.
In the world?
In the world. That commodities have been donated to a country and the commodities are in the port for 1 whole year and they are still there, uncleared. They have never seen anything like that. It's unprecedented.
Ghana is...
We are the first country.
Oh, goodness.
Where commodities have been given to you, you simply don't care.
And people are actually depending on it.
And people are depending on these medicines.
And may have even lost their lives.
Oh, yes.
So, as a Ghanaian, you should be worried. You should be worried to say, Abaya so na a whole year or getting to 2 years in Ro Abegu Porter, Abaying and to me, no. Now, whose fault is it? because from the details are eba abontene kyerɛ sɛ ɛyɛ global fund for no ɔmo de sika bɛ $2 million sika ho a ɔmo ka kyerɛ ɛyɛ aban we sɛ monje enka ho na monfa nkle ɛyɛ deɛn ɛyɛ nduro we. Now saa asɛm we asɛm a yɛ ka ɛwɔ sɛ nka Ghana ni bia ebutumi fu ɛyɛ aban no. Ghana ni bia oyo ba daye Ghana bia sebi oya Ghana ni onim nyansa sebi otua woto ema aban no wapomuden ene ade bia anka wo se ehia wo because apomuden no se aban bia ba so na se wapomuden hia na aban no oya aban jimifo titiri oyo ba na se sebi wa wo pen a ana sebi wa adwene ye adwuma na wonim se ye mfa apomuden enye de politics a de ebeba wakube mama obuafu ni se inti abai kakraka yesisu entumi nyindroi ma enkoji obi bankwa na this low-minded dark and lovely black face home management lady way wabetro nyoma ewo social media Twitter because the ni kunu ye no enwa bi na esi ano because of greed na kwasi asem nti she wants to toe the same line, but at this point we have no option to respond to daft foolish home care homegrown slaves from we need to respond to them. Into plantain chips way about Twitter, and this is what she wrote. Government stake in the T.Port is currently government stake in the T.Port is currently only 15%. We do not have a say in what happens at our port since 2014. So she was stating dates and percentages. Into Odim the Oka. Okure must say it is owned by French billionaire Baloa, who owns 17 other ports in West Africa. Read more here. So she is telling you, so Akonya article be, and you know that article was an article orchestrated by the NPP when they were in opposition. The person who even wrote the article to date has not been able to come and respond to questions that were posed to him. Now this guy goes to pick and tells Ghana for say, oh, in Runa Akaport, it is because 2014, no, John Mahama ni NDC for Aton T.Port, no, share. Look at this. And she goes there and she goes and exhibit her black ass ignorance. Netotum nenumko abegina Twitter say 15% of T.Port no ni nyina kwa foreigners wo enti na aban wei entumi enyi container no. So that's her argument. It was from 2014 no NDC for Aton Port no T.Port no expansion the expanded one no NDC for Aton inti indro na e port ma me emblemu ekufuado me emblemu aban na emom emblemu ni kuru jimifo na party na omoteso na, and because of their foolish carelessness, stupidity and ignorance no yemma nkofo nwuninti me emblemu aban no yenko blemu 2014 we mo tete no omochi kosua wo kwan ho na nka yakobo jantra yeba no na ya ma omachi kosua miensa ye wi na nka yato lax ne de acha omo. You see the foolishness they are exhibiting. No fact, misleading Ghanaians. Abanye din kwasi asem na ye chire mu ye ka no krama aban aye de ye no. Why ne tutum se aman alata semina. And we use nenim na Twitter keka kwasi asem because ni kunu sa illegal drugs na ni kunu ye de kwa aburu ba no. And it's unquasiade no modern Ghana na MPP so opportunity. Or this says she can do politics, misinform people. Now, I mentioned my dear. Why in Ghana and Abian and Raka say John Mahama na Olidi Ghana Emma and the T.Port second port 2 T.Port 2 no, and it is one of the biggest ports in Africa. Na kwasya we ete Twitter adan Jimmy phobia to mitro bibi intenda no she's mentioning strategically what board year and wasaba abebo percentage and what the article abe join the video I join and the blame why blame NDC kwahwe about life. Now let's go back and let me show you something. See, Mama Kelvin show the T.Port expansion ejuma na wo ho no. It started way back JJ Rawlings' time. and I've done this episode. And then I'm saying, Abronya na nimsa ponchibi estati and one kasa who say omuni enough information. Omuntuminya jandama, omunyina ira no. And there, sa gele the tutum se alata semina. What you see the news say ayedian Burkina Faso nentwie bi no I bet now say ono na ebe misinforming kofo. Now in 20 all the way back na JJ Rawlings aye president. And na onya adwin bi say T.Port na Kwame Nkrumah ye no isa. And that Beth baby a ship ne park no I was say ye biem na aye Kesi mo sene be a ship a Kesi beba. JJ Rawlings the first adwin na nche. And na JJ Rawlings aye den e free abemu. JJ Rawlings free abemu akofo buy from 2004 all the way to time akofo so etna abemu ekopim say akofo e free abemu no. What happened was that J.A. Kufuor, what he did was that okofa company ye from MPS buy MPS company ya and the port no omo na omo manage no sebio omo na omo siye omo na omo manage omo ni Ghana e manage bom no J.A. Kufuor time J.A. Kufuor by na JJ Rawlings I blueprint na to and on wakofa MPS by say omo pese omo ni MPS and negotiate Kufuor and negotiate 20 years deal and akofo de to 20 years say MPS for nemra na sebio omo emra na ye ni Ghana for yemfa ye sika nsi na 20 years no MPS for no enra ne port no emu wa na Kufuor e free abamu ma memfa kokuo ne picture nto so emu ho e na Kufuor e free abamu enti Kufuor free abamu no e na de Atamils bae Atamils bae no e no behu say sa deal na Kufuor ne MPS for koe no it was a bad deal because for 20 years no J.A. Kufuor was thinking about on na bae no what they would get into omo negotiations no was not going in favor of Ghana. Into Atamils bae no and I just say no. Kufuor deal na ojato what 2009 from 2004 to 2009 no. Atamils realized say it was somewhere then they need to renegotiate this because Project Way is a massive project. Now when Atamils say omo eba be start na na day Atamils so nyameto ne nsa no. Tie o sha kitchen ucheji diaper na bofa utirima be keka nkwase asem otota when you so enim you so to kan ofui mo di jimi na mo de titigana mmoa inti Atamils so anche na Atamils efrim na Mahama bae no na obehwe eye den contract no and I say no 2012 Atamils where Mahama bae no so you know something let me look at this thing again because this thing has been existing government upon government. It's Mahama bae no say this is a huge contract. Ghana in our position we cannot raise the money to do what? To construct this port. And what John Mahama did was that he sat with the MPS for no and renegotiated and said, you know something? Sa contract somebody in Kasan sign, you say a Sasha contract. And this time, what is going to happen is Ghana buy will not contribute a dime. What is going to happen is your friend be BOT, build, operate, and then transfer. So John Mahama a company no catch them say, hey, we are not going to spend a dime. Even though we want to expand our T.Port, make it bigger with other projects connected to it, the Ghana government is not going to put a dime in. And that John Mahama catch the MPS for and say, go all the way to wherever your financiers are. Go and raise money. When you raise that money, bring that money back and build that port. Now, when you build that port, your friend be bets, any baby a ship in a packy. Now, the bigger your bets, and a chest ship pack a pack. Na Ghana Port and Harbour Authority omuna no mo run old Kwame Nkrumah T.Port no inti na bet onu susa na be 4. Now what happened was MPS Ford by no and mo be see the bigger one inti at that point what was happening was the small port and the big port were all working. What happened was inti I was say omo mkofa sa sika no no they have to say also mo ti omoka they need to recoup back their investment. Because the negotiation John Mahama negotiated with them was that if you bring this amount of money and you are able to build this on Ghana land to belong to Ghana no matter the years, what is going to happen is you are going to run this sport hand to hand. And I say in conjunction. When Ghana Port and Harbour and Mumbai run airport way. Inti motimo kano na Ghana sorting and faso till say mobatimo kewie yenso the same time we are making the profit then you walk. J.A. could form the 20 years to war. John Mahama catch him and say, you know something? Someone confess we can just extend it a little bit so that we all at the end of the day will benefit. Who is going to be the biggest beneficiary? The biggest beneficiary will be the Ghana government. Because at the end of the day, yeah, in Kofo we tikani say 100 years to Ghana dia. And this thing can run for another 70, 100, 200 years. So John Mahama said this was the deal. And a BOT. So as we sit in Ghana today, the Ghana Port and Harbour and MPS, they are running the new and old T.Port. And Ghana as a country, we are making profit. They are also taking out their money that they invested until they exhaust their money. We are still going to do business with them the same way. Any idea Kotoka International Airport. There are so many deals at Mahama. The companies brought their own money to take care of the project. In the kokuo way to metna Twitter. Now fe odane no beka say uni bibi from 2014 ya ton Ghana port no dia ma company bi wagimi politics dey yo enye mo a ahye ene ye tnia wa ha enye makeup enye de use na ye use ye to ho eye politics enye omo madwene mu do into way ebetna Twitter and obe posti some kwasiasewe because she feels say oya MPP ni into oba be mislead the Ghana for the same way anu kunu kromfo na nabodwesa punch bia ofri China Sarkodie 2014 15 16 eya nkwasia politics de eya ne tribal party ni ba power no she thinks say she can do the same thing san kwasia de we na o stopping no now mama the history. When John Mahama was in office, 2014, 15, 16, the new T.Port expansion. Now, these are the records.
Starting with, President Mahama has cut sword for the commencement of the $1.5 billion T.Port expansion project. Now, the project is expected to make it the leading seaport in Africa while generating some 400,000 jobs.
The project, which is a joint partnership between the Meridian Port Services and the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, is intended to open up the facility to enhance maritime trade. The expansion comes as the first major works after over 50 years of port existence. Director General of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Richard Anamu, projected that the container traffic for the port will increase from the current 900,000 TEUs to 2.2 million TEUs. Managing Director of the Meridian Ports and Services, Mohammed Samara, was happy about the technology transfer and deployment of modern technologies to meet international standards.
We believe that after this massive upgrade and with its geographical advantage, T.Port will indeed be positioned as the maritime hub for trade along the west coast of Africa.
President Mahama is elated that T.Port will be more competitive to handle more trade.
The completion of this project will make T.Port one of the most efficient ports with quickest turnaround times in the whole of Africa. The port will be able to handle vessels up to 360 meters long. The current port is able to handle vessels only up to 170 meters.
He also touched on the Tema-Accra motorway expansion project.
As part of the expansion project, MPS will expand the Tema motorway into a 6-lane motorway, and it is expected that JICA will provide assistance to develop the Tema end of the motorway into an interchange.
The project, when completed in 2018, will accommodate more vessels.
So, we all saw it. It was a joint partnership. And today, Menoka say Ghana is making money out of the port. Now, one.
Medwasi bebre sa oje bre na odi share video na chese Tracy success na aye Kelvin tell atutu bia manene pa because Ghana fo nyina enim se aye ade a Ghana port yenton ma any French billionaire bia anya sa kwampa anka baomia a ope president yedin konfanya campaign se Ghana fo eto abama na aye ade a obema aye Ghana port any Togo port nyina aye port free na se nka port no say ya ton am a French billionaire anka ba omi abenya that kind of right abeka sa seven no which is a Tracy success 1 year or research year. So I suggest that as a housewife at Utifia, you don't have anything to do. You use your time to do good research and not try to brainwash Ghanaian youth. If you see someone subscribe, I'm also better on the subscribe button. So nothing so what on the notification bell. Send once I bit me all the new updated to channel so more who Ghanaian politics. If you see the end, my crowd.